Oh, where's me?
Jesus.
It's not that bad, is it? But like,
yeah, go on then. You can do it. Oh, you're hard as nails.
Oh, if you put your whole finger on it, it's a bit more. It's a bit stronger.
See, I will jump even if I know. I've got it now.
Yeah, once you get used to it.
Once you, yeah. First time you did it. Another week, more gifts, more beautiful presents. Stuart Roberts from MAYACHI.
Yeah. It was a long one.
Was it? How long did we go for?
Yeah, hour and 40. I think that's a record. That's the longest one yet, I think.
You said it as if you didn't enjoy it. Yeah.
I kind of wasn't expecting you to start with a gift.
Oh yeah, gifts. Yeah, well, it's always nice when the guests bring us gifts.
I know, but I thought you were going to sit down. Right, we're going to go.
Right. Okay. No. Well, I just thought where I got an electric shock. It's Stu is the man that does loads of networking.
Yeah, he said it a few times. 25 years experience in the industry.
25 years experience.
I feel like he knows everyone.
Bags of networking. Out 3 times a week. The guy that the stories of him falling asleep on the train, I was very entertained by.
Yeah. And his big love for Star Wars.
He absolutely loves Star Wars, which was great.
He might be the biggest Star Wars fan I've met.
Yeah. How many have I
met? How many Star Wars fans have I met?
How many Star Wars fans have you met? No, how many? I was going to say, how many models does he have?
700.
700 Star Wars models. But also, just a shed load of value in there as well. I think Stu, once he gets rolling, will just there were so many little nuggets of advice, things about maybe if you're looking to gear up and sell your recruitment business, his advice on that, kind of what markets seem to be working. He was sharing a lot of stuff that was going on with his clients, what they've done in tough times. I just thought, as well as there was obviously a lot of laughs in there about him and his networking and his Star Wars and his history, but I also thought there was some really, really useful stuff in there as well for especially small business owners.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. MAYACHI. Did we mention MAYACHI Advisory? Yeah, I feel like even if he's not your man, he'll know the man. He'll know the person you need to be speaking to.
Yeah, he will.
For sure.
If he's not the guy, he'll know the guy.
Yeah. So
enjoy.
Your boss at recruitment and you're going alone. You've got your LinkedIn account and your mobile phone. You've got the candidates playing hard to get. We'll call you next week or no, not yet. So much time of going to and fro. You got another offer or salaries too low. Hours of searching and hours of stress. Come on, candidates, just Giig it a rest.
Oh yeah, I do videos. So they just go, we just want 10 videos. First take, whether they're shit or not, you go with it. Got to.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, do you find it works?
It does engagement, yeah, especially on the guides and things like that. And then I've got this new thing where I have my TV and I cast up onto the TV a backdrop.
Yes.
And then it's a case of I'm standing there kind of talking.
Right, nice.
Using your hands. Christina always says use your hands. So.
Does she? Yeah. I've tried to be less handsy.
Less handsy.
Because I'm very...
after the incident.
Yeah. After I had the HR running,
We tend just to go straight for it.
Yep.
No, I'd say hold this close-ish to you, but then you're
a pro on these.
You're a pro. Do you know what, mate? Before you turned up, I had a panic, didn't I? I had a panic, and literally just before you rang me, I said to Andy, I was like, usually with these, I reach out to the guests before and I say, anything you want us to cover, this is where we are, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't do that with you because I've just been crazy busy this week. And I said to Andy, I was like, I've just got a feeling he's not going to turn up. and then Teams went, didn't it? Did you log into the... No, you must have had a note. Do you have a note taker?
I've got a note taker, yeah.
So your note taker then logged into Teams and Andy went, he's just logged in. He thinks it's online. But
yeah, no. Obviously, after doing these with knitting and then doing obviously the team ones and all the rest of it, I just kind of...
Yeah.
Andy gave me the list of questions the other day and I went, I don't need that. And he went, what, you're just going to do it off the cuff? I went, of course I am.
Yeah.
What was that for?
That was for the Team Southwest meeting, and it was just a panel session on what worked last year and what didn't work last year, kind of thing for my clients and what we saw in the industry, and it was great. So,
was it?
Yeah,
yeah. When you do all of that just off the cuff, you don't need any kind of like.
I've got 25 years experience in the industry, so what am I going to do? I'm just going to talk, aren't I?
Yeah.
It's just great to just kind of sit there and just go, this is all the experiences I've had, these are all the agencies I've worked with, and every agency's different. So it's been great. So
nice. It's good. I think it's good. I think the way that the world's moving now, it's becoming more important to be seen online and seen in content and all that kind of stuff. I think you can't almost kind of. It's a necessary evil now. Like you can't get away from it, I feel.
Yeah. Well, every day we're putting stuff out because we have to. But we don't win a lot of business from LinkedIn. And everyone says, I see you all over LinkedIn.
Yeah. I'd say that. I'd see you all over LinkedIn.
Yeah, but it is just brand awareness.
Yeah.
It's just so that we actually get a lot of FOMO. So we get a lot of people going, Stuart, I haven't been out with you. I haven't seen you. I've seen you at meetings and events, but I haven't been out with you. Especially like the banks and the finance companies and things like that who obviously want to kind of be in front and obviously try and win business.
Yeah.
But it's a case of if one invoice finance company wants to take you out for lunch, then like a week later I'll get another one going, I saw you were out with this
so
invoice finance. Can I go out for lunch with me? And I'm like, yeah, you take me out for lunch as many times as you like.
So on average, how many times did you go out for lunch?
Great question.
I'd probably say two to three times a week I'm out.
Wow. That's so good.
Yeah, but I travel all over the UK. Obviously, Curry Club. I know it's a case of the Curry Club. I don't just go. Obviously, I'm the London ambassador, but it's a case of I go to any of the Curry Clubs.
Nice.
So I was at the Portsmouth one. I went to the Northwest one. I think it was.
Where was that?
That was after one of the team meetings, but so I went to that one. I just kind of, I went to also one in Manchester as well. So
because you're this way, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm down Welling Garden City, so it's easy for me to get into London. So I get on the train in the mornings and I'm in London for the day.
Nice.
But then I'll do 3 or 4 meetings. Always have a few beers at lunchtime, a few beers in the afternoon, and maybe 1 or 2 in the evening. But that's the way I network.
Yeah,
the recruitment industry loves that. It's a case of lots of people are back in London.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's a case of the trains are always busy even on a Monday, Tuesday now. You can be busy in the mornings. There's a real buzz in there. London on a Thursday though has gone back to Thursday.
Has it? So it used to do Thirsty Thursdays. Used to be a
That's
thing.
it. Yeah,
Right.
I worked for a recruitment agency in London for 6 years.
Yeah,
and it was the Thursday. Everyone was out on a Thursday, and then it would be like, "You out tomorrow night?" No, I'm out. I'm out with
the family. I'm calming down. I don't know how you do it, mate, because I get like. It wipes me out if I like drink too much and like I can't. I've never been able to handle it. When I was younger, I used to think that I could, and Andy probably will vouch for that. Like I used to think that I could.
You was the small rowdy one.
Yeah, like do you know what I mean? I always used to think, oh yeah, I can keep up with everyone else. And as I've got older, I've realised I just have to pace myself.
I think I stick to beer.
Right, okay.
I don't deviate from beer.
Well, you're saying that. What was your first memory? What was your first memory?
My first.
Because I beg to differ.
Well, I'd seen you. This is a little bit like kind of what you said a second ago. People saying they've seen you and they want to go out with you. And I think I'd seen you online. And I maybe met you at a team or something, but it was at the Recruitment Agency Expo in London last year. You came swanning past me with 2 trays of
Baby Guinnesses.
No,
Tequila Rosa.
Tequila Rosa, yeah.
And you just swanning past me these two trays. I was like, oh, that's that bloke that I've seen.
They were for everyone else.
Obviously.
There was 1 pint of beer on there as well.
But it is the best way I find to network, especially those kind of things. And last week we did the first recruitment suppliers quarterly.
How did it go?
There was 22 people turned up.
Nice.
Now, we did this back in 2020. So there was me, Francis West and Greg McManus.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in lockdown and the only time you could go out was as a business meeting. And so we organised it as a business meeting in a pub and we had to sit there socially distanced and all the rest of it. But then it got relaxed. And so we said, right, everyone invite one other person. And then it turned into there was 12 of us and it became a regular 12, 15 people. And then last year, it kind of died off, I think, because I was organising it. I was busy doing lots of work with team and Curry Club and everything like that.
Yeah.
And this year, I kind of went, I want to kind of get that back again. Yeah. So I just put it out, and then I put it out and said, if anyone wants to bring anyone else. And then there's about 35 suppliers on the list now. And I don't think there's anything that just caters just for the suppliers. There is... team is great for the recruitment agencies, and there's a number of suppliers, but it's a case of there's nothing really that caters just for the service providers. Now, the service providers,
the expo, pretty much.
Well, obviously, the only thing with the expo now is obviously they're charging service providers. Yeah. So is that going to stop service providers from going along because they're the only ones who have to pay?
It's stopping us. We're not going to go.
That's it, exactly.
Are you going to go?
Yeah, well, I'm going along just to see. But if I normally go, I go to see my service provider mates.
That's what we do.
I never ever go to win a client. I've never won a client in the 10, 15 years of going to the expo. I've never won a client from the expo. Even presenting there and doing a stand, I never won a client.
How many times have you done a stand or presented?
I did the stand once because we realised afterwards we didn't actually win anything from it.
Right, okay.
It wasn't, I didn't think we got the wrong message or anything like that. It just didn't seem to work for us.
Right, okay.
It seemed to be, I don't know if it was at that time, and this was back in 2016 kind of time, it seemed to be that there was lots of students were coming along. There was lots of people who were coming around just grabbing all your freebies that were out there and things like that. And I'd have some meaningful conversations and scan their badges, but then no one ever get back to you afterwards, no matter how much you followed up. Yeah. And so we sort of made a decision but going every year. Yeah. I would much rather go and speak to 40 to 50 service providers on one day and remind them in some way that who I am and remember me kind of thing. Most of them, it's a big, massive hug and I'll see you in the pub kind of thing. And that's always worked. And so that's what I'm the one thing I want to make sure by going this year that actually there is still the service providers there, right? Okay. Because that is my network. And we were at the team event the other day in Coventry, and it was all talking about collaboration between service providers. 75% of our inquiries that come into MAYACHI, and it's all, we only get inbound. We don't do any outbound sales.
None at all.
None at all. It's all just people come to us.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you, a quick question on that. Did that take a period of time though before that kicked in, or has it always been that way?
It's always been that way.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah, only because I've been around for a long time.
Right, okay. So even in the start, it was...
From the very beginning, I was getting calls purely from leaving where I was before.
Right, okay. So you had like a network. Or
whatever, but it was always, I just reached back out to my service provider network, told them what I was then doing, and then it's them referring me.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean 75% of our stuff that comes through is from referrals.
Right, yeah.
So, which is, last year we had 160 inquiries last year.
Wow.
And 75% of that comes from other people saying, Stuart, you should speak to Stuart. Stuart's the person you speak to. Yeah. And then from there, I was looking at the revenue generated, and 92% of our revenue comes from referral clients. So we get better quality from the referral clients as well.
We see that
That's
for
it.
sure.
But then I sit there on the 2 hour free that we do, and I'll recommend you guys because I do it as a reciprocal thing for a whole of my network. If someone turns around and says, I need an insurance company, then I'll recommend an insurance company. If there's someone who says, when we do a lot of the new startups, and I'll say, have you got a database sorted? And they go, I haven't got a CRM at all. And I'm like, speak to the Giig guys. Yeah. So it's got to be a reciprocal, and that's how service providers work. Yeah. There's umbrella companies that actually do that as well. So there's umbrella companies that will specialize in a particular industry. Yeah. And so if they get one that's in maybe the construction industry and they're specialist in medical, they'll go, well, you should speak to this umbrella company, so to speaking, because we aren't the best at it. And that is how it should be. Sure. It shouldn't just be, it's mine. I won't pass on the deal. It's what's best for the customer. Yeah. What's best for the client. And it's always been the way I've worked. Yeah. And it's been the best way. It's... as I said, the LinkedIn does work from a brand awareness, but if I was just doing that as a way of generating income, I'd be spending a lot of money on LinkedIn. And I don't spend any money on LinkedIn. Yeah. I don't even have
we don't spend any money anyway.
I actually, back in 2010, when I joined up to LinkedIn, I paid for an upgrade pack which I think was like $190.
Right. Okay.
And they do try and ring me up and say, would you like to upgrade your package? I'm like, no, I'm just going to stick with this one, thanks. Because it is like a really good package for $190.
Yeah.
But they can't upgrade me. It was before they had this thing of we can automatically upgrade you kind of thing. So they have to keep me on this package forever.
Oh, so you've kept it.
Oh, I see.
What is the package?
I can't remember, but it's just like an enhanced package, so I can send in mails and I can have all the searches and all the rest of it. But I just can't. It's not like a sales navigator or anything, but it's £190 a year.
A year?
Oh, a year.
I thought you said a month.
A year. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you're paying.
I was trying to work out what.
But this is back in
it'd be,
2010. When I first started.
So you're on like a legacy thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've got right. Yeah,
I'm never giving that one up.
he's like a legacy user. That you just,
the board has sat there being like, oh, we could probably scrap that now.
Yeah, no.
Now there's this one guy.
Who's still got it.
We've got this one guy called Stewart that we can't get rid of.
But the thing I did was because back in the day as well, you could connect to anyone. I mean, now obviously it's 100 a week.
Of course, yeah, you could.
And I used to, as a way of doing the brand awareness on the company, you know, my previous company, was I used to sit there in the evenings and just connect every night, and we'd do 300 or 400 in a night.
Right.
And then the next day, I would get all the acceptance requests, and I would then send them not a message. I would send them a kind of, now it's companies, but before it was groups, and we would have a group for our company, and I would invite people to that
to join the group
as a way of like a 2-touch point without me ringing them up and sending them a message straight away.
Sure.
And it was just, but I've now got 29,500 connections on LinkedIn.
So you're close to the limit now.
I am, yeah. I have to cull.
You've got 500 left.
Yeah, I have to keep on culling. So I then go through, when it gets close, I then have to go through and I say anyone who's international, who's not someone I'm actually know about, that might take 1,000 off.
Yes.
But it was the best way to actually, I put something out now and I'll get lots and lots of views based on how many people I have.
Yeah.
So when John joined me in September on MAYACHI and had like 2,800, I was like, you've got to get those numbers up. And so he has to sit there every week as part of his, not KPIs, but his task of the week is he has to connect to 100 people.
Yeah.
Because it's just, we want to enhance the brand awareness.
Yeah.
Sure.
Otherwise, it's not worth us putting the posts out, because you put the posts out and who's actually going to see it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Does he sit there and connect with, or does he automate that?
No. He does a lot more of connecting to people he knows and does it more strategic.
Right.
But I said to him on a Friday, anything you've got left, just connect up to use up your allowance.
Yeah.
Because recruiters will connect up to other people.
Yeah.
They want to obviously build up their network. I don't think there is this, everyone does this very speciality kind of check-in every single time. You know, back in the day, I would send out 300 or 400 and I'd get 150 to 200 acceptances back.
Sure.
So as long as you don't connect to someone and then as soon as it comes through, you get an automated message, which is so impersonal, and actually you pick them up with a message. We don't do that at all. Mm-hmm. We don't do the automated messages. It's just more about having a large number of people in our brand that they're seeing us, and then hopefully after that seeing our posts on a regular basis as well. It's something might spark.
Sure.
But because I've been doing that since 2010, I would connect up to resources and, you know, the kind of the people that were just starting in recruitment.
Who had moved up.
That's it. And they were then the people that then turned into the people that actually started a recruitment agency.
Yeah.
Or they were the people who later on would go, actually, I now need that service.
Yeah.
And so by having yourself on there every single day, just keeps you in that limelight.
Have you always been around recruitment? Because you're a finance guy, right? So
yes.
What was the...
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
So you said 6 years as a recruiter or in recruitment?
No, so I did 6 years in a recruitment agency running their back office.
Right.
So I started 25 years ago. I left university.
Where'd you go?
I went to Middlesex University.
Oh, nice.
Which is now a load of flats in Cat Hill.
Yeah.
Well, I did product design.
Did you?
Yeah. So I didn't do any finance at all.
What kind of products?
My final design was a chair.
Right.
But yeah,
we were expecting something like
exactly. So, But yeah, it was that exciting.
Nice.
It was a chair.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a chair that went up and down. So
3 years at uni to make a chair.
That's it. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I came out of uni and I wanted to actually get into films and television doing special effects.
Okay.
So I'm a big film lover, absolutely love films, and went out to the market trying to pump myself out. But it was at the time when the film industry was all about interns and paying you just for your expenses, not paying you for anything.
Coffee runs,
That's
that,
it.
that typical
runners and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I tried, but I needed to earn some money.
What's your favourite films?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
right, okay.
big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Really?
Massive Star Wars fan. So yeah, I'm sad and got all the figures and all the rest of it as well.
Yeah.
So I think we've got about 700 figures spanning
Wow.
all of the films. So yeah, my loft
700?
is... Yeah, I've got pretty much nearly every single one. So yeah.
Where'd you keep them?
They're in my loft. So
Wow.
yeah, just waiting for the day when I can build a room that's got it all displayed.
In boxes? Or?
They're all in boxes, yeah. So
Wow.
it's quite a collection, yeah. It
that's
covers half my loft, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Are they all
do you get in trouble for how much room it takes up? Or-
Well, I've had two ex-wives, so yeah.
It's me or the Star Wars toys.
Exactly, yes. But yeah, it's all the memorabilia that goes along with it and as well. So
How old's the oldest one?
Well, I've got some of the old figures as well, the really old ones. So you go around all the kind of flea markets and all the rest of it, and you're picking up the really old ones as well, because you've got to go back to like 1970, well, it was 77, but I think the figures didn't start coming out till the kind of December of 77. So it's trying to get those ones that are really, really hard ones to get, because they're really expensive and they're always like the boxes, and then the boxes are in cellophane and things like that. So yeah, but
do you have a favourite film? Do you have a favourite one?
Everyone loves probably Empire Strikes Back. Everyone still loves Empire Strikes Back. It's the darkness of Empire Strikes Back, and when you saw it for the first time, and I am your father kind of thing always kind of is the key line. But I'm trying to get my daughter into it at the moment, and she just loves Yoda. So
Nice. Nice. I was named after Luke Skywalker.
Oh right,
that is a fact.
Wow, there we go.
My dad is also a Star Wars fan. So whenever people do the old Luke, I am your father, I'm like, actually, that is quite closer to home than you think. And the funny thing is, I don't mind Star Wars, but my brother is way more into that kind of thing than I am. So it's almost like he should have been the one really that should have been named Luke. Yeah, but I can get on board with Star Wars.
What's his name? Boba.
My dad always says that. I pushed for Yoda, but his mum wasn't having it, so we settled on Sam. So basically, do you have a favourite character?
Boba Fett, all day long. But the old Boba Fett, not so much in the new film, because he was a little bit chunkier in the new film. So yeah,
was he?
Well, the old one was I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a lot slimmer and and he looked like a proper bounty hunter. And then obviously, when they put Tamura Morrison in, and he's quite a big kind of Samoan guy, it's kind of like it didn't quite match. But no, it was still, I still watch all of the spin-offs and all the rest of it. Yeah, looking forward to the Mando Grogu film that's coming out in May. So
I don't know what that means.
There's a new film that's coming out.
Okay.
And Mandalorian and Grogu is a little kind of Yoda.
The little baby one. I've seen
That's it, Baby
Everyone
calls
calls
Yoda.
Baby
Yoda.
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen
it.
that thing.
So that's out in May. So I'm out to watch that. I'll probably be on the first day and probably go and see it 3 or 4 times after that as well.
Oh, so you are really
massive fan.
How many times do you think you've watched them?
Oh, thousands. Just I could watch them every week, kind of thing. Yeah,
I never knew that. It's funny, isn't it?
No,
It's funny how we suddenly went from talking about you in
product design,
product design.
That's it. But back to the story on the other side. So I was looking for a job, and my mum and my sister both worked for a umbrella company. So my mum was the PA to the finance director, and my sister was the receptionist. And my mum asked the FD if there was any jobs going, because I was looking for something part-time. And he put me in doing personal tax return inquiries.
Okay.
It was a part-time position, and all I was doing was I was going through and answering to HMRC creative ways of telling them about how these expenses that they were put through their business could be claimed.
Right. Okay.
And then it turned into that he gave me 3,500 corporation tax returns, because every company, the way that they were running it was not as an umbrella company, but every person had their own individual limited company.
Right.
It was back in the days pre-IR35. And gave me 3,000 corporation tax returns and said each one of these needs a check and a covering letter and sent out. That should take you 3 or 4 months. Well, I did the whole lot in 2 weeks. Because what I did was I rang HMRC and said, can I box these up and send these over to you in batches? And they went, yep, 100 in a box, have a covering letter, send it over. And so I boxed them all up and sent them over in loads of 300 odd batches.
That's patience.
That's it. So I did that. And then I rang the bank and I said, right, instead of us writing checks, can we do this by electronic transfer from 3,000 bank accounts? And so we did a CSV upload and sent 3,000 payments in one day.
Wow. Ahead of your time.
Yeah. So he turned around and David went, I think actually I should get you doing some other jobs for me. And so he said, look, it's a full-time role here if you want it. And so I became his internal audit administrator, as we called myself, which was just he would give me a finance project, and I'd go out and find money. Right. Or find ways of improving the processes. And so I did that for 18 months. And then David came to me and he said, Stuart, I've got the idea to run the back office of recruitment agencies. We're running the back office of contractors. I've got an idea to run the back office of recruitment agencies. And we set up one of the first pay and bill solutions. So the only other one that was really out there at the time was Cash Friday.
Never heard of it.
So Cash Friday was acquired.
Is it still going?
It turned into Lloyd's. Lloyd's was running a pay and bill solution at the time for their invoice finance. And so we ran this new solution and we grew it. He gave me 3 recruitment agencies, which were all brand new startups. And by the time about 2 years later, we got it to 18 agencies. Right. So, which was nice.
Good, yeah.
But
what year roughly is this? Sorry?
This was 2004, 2005. Okay. Right. But I had a falling out with David's business partner. Right. And so I left the business. And
he didn't like Star Wars.
Something along those lines, yes. There's something along those lines. It was, I left and went to a telecoms company for 6 weeks. And then I was approached by one of the recruitment agencies who said, Stuart, come down and see us. And so I went down to London Bridge, met up with the guys from a company called MSI, which at the time was an IT recruitment agency, had about 10 staff, and they just turned around and passed me a piece of paper and a pen and said, right, you're on contract, come to work for us. Right. And I said, right, okay, what doing? And they said,
contract.
It was basically take the business away from where I was working before, but it wasn't. They wanted to take it in-house, so we're growing to a size. It got to about 2.5 million turnover, and I was like, right, Kate, we've got to do this properly. Go and ask him if I can come and join you. Right. And David gave his blessing and said, look, you can do this. So I went over, worked for MSI for 5.5 years, ran their back office. They got to around about 25 internal consultants, about 16 million turnover at the time. But I wasn't just running the finance team. I was also running the compliance team because they turned into a medical agency. Yeah. Right. I was running their website. I was running their database. So it cut my teeth in an agency. Right. On a kind of daily basis rather than actually I never did recruitment. It was always the back office and account side. And it was all self-taught from the stuff that David had told me. Wow. He taught me how to do management accounts. He taught me how to do year-end accounts, VAT returns, invoicing systems, invoice finance. And so I just used that knowledge. And so, I was there for 5.5 years. Great fun. Thing is the London life caught me.
Did it?
Yeah. So
the bright lights.
In the respect of a consultant would go, Stu, it's Monday. I've had a really crap day. Do you fancy going down the pub? And I'd be, I'd just come out of my first marriage and I was like, yeah, let's go down the pub. Then Tuesday.
In London Bridge, right?
London Bridge,
So you've got loads of options around there as well.
And then it was a case of a Tuesday came along and another consultant would come over, Stu, I've had a really good day. Do you fancy going down the pub? And I'd be like, yeah, all right then. And this happened.
People learn they just say yes. That's the thing.
So
it's like, no. Oh, no, he'll say yes.
So it was Monday to Thursday was down the pub, and it kind of took its toll on me after the 5.5 years.
It does, catches you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then what happened was David rang me up in the kind of near the end of 2009 and said, Stu, we haven't spoken for the 5.5 years. Let's have a chat. And so I went and saw David, and he said, look, I've parted ways with my old business partner. I want to do something with you. let's set up a company that runs the back office of recruitment agencies properly. So it wasn't just a pay and bill solution, it was a full back office and account solution. So David had 3 clients. He was a chartered accountant, so he had 3 clients. And I said, look, as long as I don't have to raise any invoices and I don't have to pay anyone. And he went, I'll have a team of people to do that. I want you to go out there and sell it. And I was like, but I'm not a salesman. And he's like, but you're not selling. All you're going to do is explain to them the back office processes and people will come to us. And so we started off 2009 with 3 clients. Fast forward 13 years, and in 2023, we sold the company. Wow. We had 120 plus recruitment agencies on our books. That's we were looking after about 3,000 contractors. Most of them have been new startups that I'd actually helped to grow from the very beginning. Yeah. So a lot of them were not my mates, but they were like my mates.
Yeah,
so
people
you get
that
to
know them, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And you're a personable guy. So
that's it. And so, and they were trusting me. You know, I was there from day one of their business, and so they were trusting me, and it just kind of came from that. But problem is, and I say this to everyone who sells a business, you are unemployable, because after that, you won't ever want to go and work for someone else. Okay. You'll get that bug of you have to start with work. Sure. You can't go and work for someone else.
Sure.
Because
I'd really struggle, I think.
Yeah, because I couldn't be told what to do. And after 2 weeks, because I stayed on with the people that bought us. Yeah. And after 2 weeks, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can actually be
2 weeks, really?
Yeah. And it got to 6 weeks and I could feel my mental health was really going downhill.
Jeez.
So I went and saw a therapist actually for about 6 months after we sold the business. Not while we were selling. Selling was the most stressful thing you ever done. Yeah. But I could get through that. It was actually my sense of self-worth, my sense of who I am, because I was longer. Right? Yeah, I was no longer the boss. I was no longer in charge. I was no longer making those business decisions. And so I just turned around and was like, I just got to get out. And so I gave notice. Yeah. I was supposed to have a 6 month notice, but they knocked it down, which was good. So by July, we sold in the February, and by July I left.
It's an amazing journey, right?
That's it. So I took 5 months out. And I just took 5 months out. My daughter at the time was a year and a half old. Okay. And so I became the house husband, and my wife at the time went back to work. Right. And so, but I always knew I wanted.
I can't imagine you running around with a little Hugo.
Oh, it was great. No, I know it was because it was a really hot summer as well, right. And so what I could do is I could take her out to the park and all the rest of it, and it was just 1.5-year-old. It was time. It was really, really was nice. She was sleeping in the afternoons as well, so I'd have some time to myself.
Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those kind of thing. But yeah, it was great. But I knew I wanted to go and do something again, but I did have a 3-year restriction.
Right, yeah. So
from selling the business was 3 years.
3 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, but in some ways, I didn't need to go and do that all over again.
Sure.
Because I'd done the back office. I'd actually run the whole back office thing and all the rest of it. I wanted to do something new. And I built up trust with people on helping them. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, I've got this money. I'm mortgage free. I can actually do something with my time.
What position?
So why not set up an advisory firm for recruitment agencies? And so I sort of touted myself as a non-exec FD, fractional CFO and things like that, and set up MAYACHI and said, this is what I'm going to do. And so that was January 2024. Purely did it that it was, anyone who came to me and goes, can you do my accounts? Can you do my back? No, that's not what I'm doing. I was passing deals over to other accountants, other back office companies, other pay and bill companies. And I was going to the people that could actually really look after them. It was all about making sure they had the right solution. Because so many people just go, I've had a phone call from this person. They sound like they're all right. Move them over.
Sure.
They might go to someone who's very expensive. They might be going to someone who's not very good in the market. Yeah. And it's so hard to know who's good and who's bad when you're a recruiter and you've just come from somewhere where it's all been done for you.
Correct.
You've had an internal team of person who does your contracts, person who does your funding. Yeah. And it's the same with the funding deals and things like that. I was going out there and going, this is who you should be using. And I was introducing them to funders, invoice finance companies, the insurers, to make sure that they had the best possible start. And it was working. And then people were like, Stuart, I want to have more meetings with you. Because not only have you now helped me set up, but I want you to help me with the growth, the development. If there's another, if it turns around, they work off Excel spreadsheets to start off with and they need a database, then they would ring me up and go, Stuart, who shall I use? Because they've built that trust.
Sure. So important, trust, right?
That's it.
I'm going to jump back to something you said. You said that you went to therapy. Do you mind me asking how you found it?
every single time I went, it was like a big lift big weight off my shoulders.
Was it?
I was not sleeping at all. I had high anxiety. The way that it was I wasn't sleeping because I had like 20 things going on in my head at the same time.
Right.
But every single time I went to therapy, and I went weekly, and I would just sit there talking, and all she would do is just ask one question at the beginning, and it would all just come out.
Really? Right.
Wow.
And it was great. It was just, and then I would come out of there, and I'd feel like there's one less voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was only in the evening. It wasn't I was like having all these voices going on in my head. It was just at night.
And this was post-sale, right?
This is post-sale, yeah. And it was purely, as I said, that it just made me, it was probably that actually made me go, I need to face up to what is the reason why I am like this. And it was because of, one of the sessions we had, and it was, I pretty much nearly broke down because it was, I don't know who I am anymore. You just go, what am I doing here?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
And it was, I remember I was with my wife at the time, and we were in the car going down to Devon. And I was just sitting there thinking as I'm driving, the M4, which is a pretty boring road, straight road. And I just turned around to her and I just said, I think actually I want to leave. And she was like, are you sure? You're working for the company you've built all these years. I said, but it's not mine anymore. I don't feel it's mine.
It's different, right?
And she said, well, I've actually been thinking I want to go back to work. And it just kind of then for both of us, it was work with both of us at the same time. But it probably just needed to be said out loud.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's come from therapy as well, is actually just talking out loud about it.
Yeah.
I don't mind telling people I've been to therapy. Actually, for some people, they go, really, maybe I should think about this, because they just go, it's a stigma still. It still is. I know we talk about it a lot.
It's getting better. I think.
It definitely is.
Now.
But, I luckily found a good therapist first time.
Right, okay.
So, but, there's so many out there. You just have to do your research. You have to really kind of talk to them. I just felt very comfortable with just going there and sitting down and talking.
Yeah. I think it's horses for courses as well. I've got a friend that I know that's been to therapy. And she said to me that like it was the third or fourth person that was just like, that's my person.
Yes.
So like she said like all the others were nice. And, like it wasn't like they were bad therapists, but she sat down with one person one day and just went, that's the connection.
I think the thing as well is it's hard to know when to stop.
So you don't do it anymore then?
I don't do it anymore, no. Okay. I did it, I think I started in the March after we sold in the Feb, and it was the October I finished.
Okay.
But the reason why is I was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And also I was going to the meetings, and in some ways all I was doing was talking about my week had gone by.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't talking about the past anymore. I wasn't talking about how I was feeling then, because I'd resolved all of that. So for me, it was, I knew that this was the time, or otherwise you could continue paying, because it was a paid therapist. It was a case of you could just continue paying. And it was about, I had the kind of confidence in myself that I felt I was there. I was ready to stop.
Okay. So it was you inside that got to the point.
And I think you have to do that yourself. The therapist is never going to turn around and go, I don't think you need me anymore.
Yeah, they should though, I think, if they...
Yeah, but it is that kind of, you have to yourself know when to stop.
Yeah.
And if I ever feel I'm creeping back to that stage, then I would always go back.
Go again.
But it's a case of I felt so much better after all that time. And I'm in a really good place. I only work Monday to Thursday now. I don't work Fridays.
Okay.
I've kind of set that with the new business.
Yeah.
The odd Friday I might pop in or something like that, in the respect of, there's going for a beer, all right then. So, but
get the call.
That's it. But it is mainly it's I've now got a work-life balance. Although I did split from my second wife, it's a case of that we've got a very good relationship.
Nice.
I've seen my daughter 50% of the time, which is really nice. I get to go on holidays. Next week I'm off to next Friday I'm off to Thailand for 2 weeks, which is going to be lovely.
Nice.
And I've got New York in May, and I've got all these other holidays, but I can do this now. This is my business. I can pick and choose when, and this is the same way I do with my clients. So the service I provide is on a per meeting basis.
Mm-hmm.
So the per meeting basis, if I've had people this month joke, look, Stuart, it's just so busy. Can I see you next month?
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah,
it's a case of, I've only got limited time next month, but it's a case of, if you don't need me at this time because you feel you're in the right position, that's great. And then it's a case of we can pick up. I do it on a per meeting. It's not a retainer model or anything like that. And it works so nicely. I have some clients who I only see once a year.
Right, okay.
They get their year-end accounts from their accountant, and they just want me to do a full review.
Right, okay.
Because accountants at the moment are sending off accounts to people who run their company and going, there's your accounts, check them, sign them and return them to me.
Yeah.
And a recruiter goes, or any business owner might just go, I don't know what a balance sheet is. I don't know what P&L is. I don't know if I'm looking at the right things or the wrong things. And then they're signing them and sending them back. And so by me having a 2-hour meeting, and it's always 2 hours because anything longer and the recruiter's eyes just start glazing over and they start looking at their phone and they want to get back on doing another deal. So 2 hours is the maximum. But I could do that. I could just reel it all off. And then they'll come away and then they'll go back to their accountant. And I had one agency, I saved them 22 grand on their corporation tax.
Wow.
Because their accountant, they were a perm only agency.
22 grand's big as well.
I know. What it was they were made a massive amounts of profit. And I was like, right, there's something's not quite right on these accounts because they don't have that much money. And I know that they're going to be paying this stuff out and all the rest of it. And so I asked about the commissions. And so they are an agency who pay the commission 6 months after the deal is done.
Right,
because they have the rebates are quite high and return of the money can be, because they do a lot of stuff in America where there's quite high rebate on their client. So I said, right, work out what your rebate, what the commission is that you need to pay out for the next 6 months.
Yes.
And it was 120 grand.
Right. They had that banked.
So
had been put down as profit.
Exactly. And it wasn't a cost for the future.
Gotcha.
So I said, if someone came and bought your company on that day, and they would have thought, well, we're buying a company that's got £500,000 on the profit line, not knowing the day after that they'd have 120 grand to be paid out over the next 6 months.
Yeah. Commissions. Yeah.
So we put that in and it reduced corporation tax down. And it was just from the one meeting that they paid me 350 quid for. Yeah. To save them 22 grand. They did take me out for a very nice Michelin star meal afterwards as well to say thank you so much. Yeah. But it was just that was real rewarding for me. That's not being, it's from a commercial perspective that the accountant didn't bother asking the question and understand that agency's business. Yeah. It didn't go, what is your business model? How do you pay your staff? How do you pay your commissions? How does your business actually work?
They just looked at the numbers and went, you've made this much.
Yeah, you must be very happy with that. And they were like, but we're only taking 100 grand each out of the company. What do we need to make £500,000 for? 350 is fine with us kind of thing. So it's those kind of things that I go in and I look at it. I use, although I did product design, I still use those techniques and methods now.
Yeah.
So someone comes to me with a problem.
Yeah.
And then I write my own brief and then I come up with a number of solutions. I find a final solution and then I give it to them. But I can do that in my head, like within 30 seconds when it's a financial problem. I can look at numbers and I can go, that's not right. Wonder if that's that. Ask a couple of questions and I can go, right, the way we're going to resolve this is this way.
Yeah.
And it just comes very naturally to me doing that.
Yeah.
And it's, as I said, they then go back to their accountants and go, can I do this? And they go, oh yeah. It's like, it's the 2 hour free meeting I do with them is talking about expenses that they can put through their business because accountants are not telling them.
Yeah.
Subsistence and mileage and all the rest of it. I had one agency, a team member, and she was putting nothing through. And I spoke to her and we went through it all. And then I saw her at the next team meeting. She goes, Stuart, you saved me like 9 grand on my personal and corporation tax.
Wow.
Because I was paying out for, when I was coming to a team meeting, I was paying for that myself.
Yeah.
I didn't realise I could put the cups of coffee when I'm seeing clients and candidates and all those through the business. And she goes, see, I put these through.
Yeah.
I then could reduce my corporation tax because my profits went down.
Sure.
Moved it to a director's loan. And then I then reduced my dividends, which meant I paid less personal tax. And she was like, that's 9 grand saved. I was just like, did your accountant not do this? She'd been in business for 5 years. And I'm like, surely your accountant must have told you this. He's got, no. And it's those kind of things that frustrate me. And that's where I feel there is a big need for people like me in the business.
It's probably because they'll tap into an accountant that's probably quite low budget. Do you know what I mean? So they're a new business. They're a startup. That lady that you just mentioned there, she's probably found an affordable accountant that goes...
Butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker one,
Correct.
Doing a bit of everyone,
Yeah.
That meeting, she had the accountant had a meeting with a builder, then it was the shopkeeper, and then it was her as a recruitment agency, and it's generic advice, and it's... But that's where I think recruitment agencies need... either an expert like me, and then you can still use one of those cheap accountants, or you should go to a recruitment-specific accountant.
Interesting.
Because actually, they know your industry. I had one agency. I'm working with him now for kind of 2 years, and he's been a great journey because he's coming to that point of he's getting offers of sale now, which is fantastic. And we've been working so hard to get him to that point. But one of the things that came up was intermediary reporting. So, which is a very boring report that gets submitted to HMRC every quarter to tell HMRC about payments made to umbrellas and limited companies. Now, that's been there since 2014. And the thing was he spoke to his accountant. His accountant hadn't been doing it. And it's like, he's been in business for like 15 years and he's not done this intermediary reporting.
Sure.
And so just because his accountant was not recruitment specific, they didn't know that this is what you need to do as a recruitment agency. And so they hadn't submitted the report. And it's those kind of things that you need someone who's actually going to know those things. So either you come to me and I'll tell you, and then you'll get your accountant to do it, or you need someone who's recruitment specific and actually has that information.
That business, is it contract per? What's the makeup of that company?
Contract and perm,
Okay.
but they're doing kind of MSP placements as well. So they're doing this kind of managed service providers, which is great from a valuation perspective.
Right, I was going to ask how that's put together because I think it's a really interesting topic of what you need to build in a recruitment agency to make it sellable.
Yeah. Well, if you're a perm only agency and you're just doing contingent, it's going to be worth very, very little.
Really? So would you say
you have to change your model if you want to sell and you're a perm only agency? You have to look at retained, exclusive deals, and then there's things like the subscription, the MSP model. So we talked about it at the Milton Keynes one, didn't we? It definitely is something that I'm working with some people, kind of NEDs. So I go in on the finance side, but they go, because I've never been a recruiter, I can't teach that bit. So they go in and actually set this up and actually do the training and how that works.
Bless you.
But it's
this could go on for a while now. By the way, there'll probably be 5, 4, fifth one. Only 4 today.
Another one might come.
It's just to annoy me.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
But yeah, it's working with someone who can actually change the way you work on it. I think it definitely needs to happen if you're a perm only agency.
Right.
Contract recruitment agency, more than a temp, I think is the way to also go as well.
Right,
work. My motto's always been work smarter, not harder. So you don't want to, if you do a temp book where you're putting low level people in and you're having to register 40 candidates and put them on payroll and they're taking 40 off. It's too much like hard work. You're filling shift patterns on a weekly basis. Yes, there is a number of agencies out there, but those agencies should be going, right, okay, I'm doing my hard slog on this. Can I do the next level up, even if it's another £5 an hour charge, and go to that next step up and to the next step up? And, you know, I've had recruitment agencies who have been like 400 temps out, making the same amount of money as someone who's got like 10 contractors out.
Wow, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so you just go, and those contractors are on 18-month contracts.
Yeah.
And every single time they wake up, they're making £200 a day margins because they're charging 1,200 quid to the client and they're paying the candidate £1,000.
Yeah.
But 200 quid a day, and they've worked their way up to those level of placements.
Yeah.
That is what people should be doing. It's a case of always looking for that next level up. Look for that next level up. Don't just go, well, I am this recruiter, so I'm just going to stick at it.
Stay in that lane.
I know it's hard to move out.
Sure.
But the rewards are so much better.
But everyone will also want that as well, which makes it more competitive, right?
That's it.
Then everyone would have that because that's the idea.
But once you get on it, it's a case of you can make some, recruiters make some seriously good money.
Yeah.
And, I do think, in some ways is recruitment a bit like kind of footballers. It's kind of, is there a shelf life? And, when you get to a certain age, then you become a manager and or you have to start your own recruitment business. In some ways, yeah, but only if the only time that ever comes into it is if you don't change. If you don't evolve and you don't move with technology, if you don't move with the times of how everyone's doing recruitment nowadays, and also taking that advice of if you are starting your business, I've had people who've run it for 20 odd years and then they go, okay, I can't sell my business, I'm just going to fold it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what?
It's crazy.
There's still, if you'd done some prep work 3 years before, we could have got you to a point of actually even just making 100 grand.
Yeah.
Or we could have planned an exit.
Every little counts, right?
That's it, or it could be an internal sale or something like that. 3 years ago, we could have looked at taking someone on who could have then bought your business from an internal perspective.
And carried it on.
That's it.
Yeah. But that's a good model, actually.
But I've worked with agencies doing those models because they go, look, I've got people internally.
Yeah.
I think they could take this over, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And so we look at that from a perspective of, right, let's get them involved. Let's start getting them involved in managers' meetings and director meetings and getting them to understand the numbers. And this could be yours in the future. And then you come up with a model that actually gets both of you a really good deal.
Yeah.
You're doing an MBO, you actually buy the business for nothing.
Sure.
Because what you're doing is MBO, yes, there's an amount of money you got to pay up front, but afterwards it's paid from the profits of the company.
Right, okay, so it's drip fed over time. So
That's it.
But what happens if the company doesn't perform?
Well, the person still needs to give the money.
Right, okay.
There is a pressure.
There is a pressure and a risk there, because if the business doesn't perform...
But it's probably the better way to do it if you have like a family-run business, or you have a business that actually...
It's a good model.
That's it. And that's what I advise on as well. It's not just about, right, okay, we're going to look for that trade sale. We're going to look for that large... I have people as well who go, look, I just want to... I want to sell my business, but I'm only, £1 million turnover. I don't think anyone's going to buy me. I'm like, you got a contractor book there, definitely. Yeah. We could sell that for 300 or 400 grand, because if you're making the profits on that and all the rest of it, that's got a value. And you get paid maybe over a 2 or 3 year period. You can sell your contractor book. It's just setting those up and actually having the mindset of, right, I don't want to do this anymore, but I can't just do that. I want to sell tomorrow. There's a plan. You got to make sure that every bit is planned out, and you got to stick to it as well. There's people. There was one client I was worked with years ago, and he sold his business, and he had to stay on in the business for 3 years afterwards,
right?
Because he had 65% of the relationships with the clients.
Okay. So it's passing those over a 3 year period.
That's it. Basically. So when they bought the business, they said, right, we're going to give you the value, but we're only going to give you this much money, and then the rest of it will be paid over a 3 year period, and you have to stay on in order to get those extra bits of money, because you have to pass those client details over. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, where you actually aren't part of the business and you're not a key staff member, you aren't going to be able to sell your business.
Sure.
You can, but you would be expected to stay on, or you get a lower value. Because anyone else would turn around and go, well, we could lose all those relationships tomorrow because they were your relationships, not the business's relationships.
That's the difficult thing, right?
That's it. And so, trying to get a recruiter to give up their relationships is not an easy task.
Easier said than done.
But it's the only way you can get your multiple, to get your value out of the business, all that were years of hard work to actually sell it. When me and David sold our business, we were pretty much kind of figureheads in some respect.
Yeah,
there was people under us that could do the sales side. There was people that could do we had a directorial team. I was part of it, but it was, if I wasn't there, I could go on holiday and David could go on holiday. The business would still run.
Yeah.
They wanted me to stay on afterwards, purely from a perspective of your knowledge and what you've achieved previously. Fantastic, that's great. But after I left, the business has still continued afterwards.
That's the way. They're the best businesses, right?
That's it.
That's when you know you've got a real business.
Yeah.
When you can step away and things still keep going with then it's like, it's not just you being a solopreneur or whatever anymore. It's not a hobby thing. It's like that is a business at that point.
It's a bit like, I look at it for MAYACHI as well, because I'm in some ways I'm a consulting business. I'm all doors.
How many of you are there in there?
So it's me and John at the moment. Yeah. John joined in September. We've got like 25
so it's
clients.
Just the two of you at the moment.
Yeah, 25 clients that we see on a regular basis. Which is great because, we're busy some months and not busy other months, but we can plan holidays and all the rest of it. But then I look at it from a perspective of, could I sell this business in the future? A consultative business would be very hard to sell. But what we've done is we've set up this process, and it's process driven.
Yep.
So pretty much it's a case of, when we go into a meeting, there's an agenda that we follow. And every agency, we do the same agenda. Okay. Everyone is slightly different from the answers and the thing and the advisory we give, but it's an agenda driven. When we do our 2 hour free, one of the things that John realised on the 2 hour frees was they're all the same. We do an agenda on that. So we talk about this bit first, and this bit, then this bit, then this bit, and it follows through. So John, he was learning a repetitive pattern.
Yeah.
When we now do the meetings, it's learning that repetitive pattern. It's certain reports, and it's certain things we look at, and it's certain ways of us pushing the business. There are agencies where we go into meetings. We went to one the other day, and one of my clients has got an offer, and it was kind of, that's a completely different meeting to us talking about business development and all the rest of it. Yeah. But those ones don't come along very often. So we've created a replicatable service. It means as well, if I'm not there and John goes and does one of the meetings, John could do that meeting. Yeah. Because he just has to learn what that agency does. So
he knows the blueprint.
Yeah. And it's just using that same model. So what we've now got is, we've talked about it, that it could be by like October, November time this year, we could need another person.
Nice.
And then we could, because it's just to replicate. I could have 6 or 7 consultants within MAYACHI, and then I could take a step back if I wanted.
Yeah.
Because it just runs in some respect, and it's that replication.
Yeah, it's the system. It's that they say the McDonald's do that, right?
Yeah.
They have the system. Anyone can go in and follow the process. And
that's it. If you do 1,000 processes on 1,000 clients, you need 1,000 people, probably 2,000 people to run it.
Yeah.
But it's a case of if you actually have the same process for all of it. When we ran our back office company, we had running 120 recruitment agencies, but we had 33 staff. We didn't have 3 times as many for each one because every agency had their own pay and bill person, credit controller and bookkeeper, but we spread that out and we spread the load and we minimized what each person was doing and made it a replicatable service. Everyone did have a little nuances, but you've got to run your business as everyone does the same in order to sell it that way.
Yeah, fair.
So, and it works. It's something that I've always done in all my businesses is same process. Because then you can sell it. You're selling a process in some respect.
It's what we've started doing this year, isn't it?
Building processes.
Yeah, we've got much because we're getting to the point now where with the 3 of us, we're getting to capacity and we're going to be looking at bringing people in.
Yeah.
And we're going to do present time. But this year I said to the guys, as we see it coming down the track, instead of waiting until we get there and going, oh crap, what do we do?
Yep.
Let's start putting the processes in place now so that when we do put someone in Andy's team, we do put someone in James's team, it's like, this is how we work.
It's the only way you can do it, definitely. And also it means that people coming in, they know what they've got to do.
Yeah.
You can then target them a little bit. No one likes KPIs. Exactly. So it definitely works. So I think, it's the only way to run a business. And it then makes your business more saleable as well for the future. You don't want to have it where, as I said, you are the main cog because you can never sell your business.
The nucleus of the business.
So if all I did was just make coffee all day, then that's fine. So.
But yeah, you may be aware if you've seen this online that we have a little segment of the pod where everyone gets a gift. You do have something special.
Well, I've got one for you two as well.
Do you know what this is becoming?
Someone said that you get very cold. And it had to be the colours as well.
That's hilarious.
But Andy's one.
Oh, we got.
You have a problem with every. This is a doorbell buzzer. So it gives them an electric shock whenever you use it.
From my LinkedIn post.
That is very,
it gives you an electric shock.
Yeah.
Have you tried it? Oh, it's not got
battery.
battery.
Put the batteries
so
in.
someone did know that I do like Star Wars.
Thank you ever so much, mate.
Let's have a look at these. Oh, yes.
What size feet are you?
9.
Oh, they're way too big.
Oh, that's all right. Crocs are never going to be. Crocs are never going to be.
You can pot around the garden and then you can.
Fantastic.
Will they fall off?
Well, what I normally do with all the Star Wars stuff, you get it, but you don't use it.
Yeah.
Well, there you are, mate. You now are an owner of R2D2
Crocs.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Because you're size 9, aren't you?
Yeah.
And how tall are you?
5'10".
You got the same feet size. We went with bigger.
To be fair, we didn't have much choice on the size anyway.
No, we didn't.
And I really liked him. So
I quite like him as well.
I was like, I'm flying the flag. I was like, we're getting them.
There you go, mate. More for the collection.
They look good.
It's very relaxing now.
When you said earlier that you had 300 figures, I was like
700.
Oh, 700 figures.
I wanted to be like, well, do you have a pair of R2D2s?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you do now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Have you? The other thing I was going to say to you: have you always been Welling based? Have you always been from down this way?
Yeah. Well, originally I was a Barnet boy.
Oh, okay.
So I lived in Barnet. Then I moved to Boreham Wood, opposite Elstree Studios.
Yeah.
And then I moved a little bit further up and went to Welling Garden City. And now this is my 3rd place in Welling Garden City. So I'm still further north in Welling Garden City because I'm near Welling North Station.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it's a case of I love Welling Garden City.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why do you love it?
There's a tree on every road.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's the only thing about being a garden city. You have to have a tree on every road. So, yeah.
Do you know what's so funny about that sentence? And I'm so glad you said it. I've got a good friend, right? And his wife, their family from Welling, and they love Welling Garden City. They literally love it, right? And I went on the stag do with the dad and the brother, and I said to them, like, why do you love it? And they said exactly the same sentence as you said. Yeah, they did. Because they were like, because all of the family live in Welling Garden City. They all live really close. And I remember them talking about their daughter moving out. She only moved to Leighton Buzzard.
Yeah.
They were like, I can't believe Did you shock yourself?
No, he says he put the battery in, yeah? Or is there a battery already? He did shock himself.
Did you?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You're going to have so much fun with the everyman now.
Even though you know it's coming, it's still... How long could you hold it for? You can't hold it very long at all. But yeah, they seem to love Welwyn Garden. They seem to love Welwyn Garden City.
Well, as I said, for me as well, to get into London and back, it's nice and easy. But the only problem is after a few jars, I might get a few bit sleepy, and I have woken up Cambridge.
Cambridge.
Yeah, I woke up Cambridge. Yeah,
that's not ideal. Is it?
No, there was another one. I realised at one stage I got off. I was like, fuck. Got off the train, and it was like on one of these stations that was in the middle of like a field, and it had like the level crossing to cross the road. And I was like, fuck, what do I do? Because there was no way getting a cab or anything like that, and I just had to kind of hope that there was a train going back the other way. Luckily there was, but I was just like, oh my god, middle of this field.
Do you know where you were?
It was in between Cambridge. It was further out towards Cambridge, so it must have been about 3 stops before Cambridge. But yeah, it was kind of like, I was like, and there's no one around. It was all getting misty off the fields and all the rest of it. I was like, oh my God, I'm either going to get killed here by I wake up in the morning, I'm just going to be an icicle on the platform. I'm just going to get killed by some farmer coming around or something. But yeah, no, it was, that's the only problem with Welwyn Garden. If it was the end stop, it would be fine.
You'd be perfect. Yeah. How long does it take the train to get to Welwyn?
From London. To London, it's about 30 minutes.
So you've only got about 30 minutes to stand awake.
But the thing is I can fall asleep standing up. That's the problem. So I even tried if I don't sit down and I just hold on to the pole, but then I'm like...
You still nod. Oh. Yeah. See, I struggle in public places to fall asleep. Like, I went in trains, planes...
I'm glad you clarified.
Well, yeah.
To fall asleep.
Stuart was looking at me weirdly.
He had such a big pause.
Sorry, he gave me the side eye.
Public places.
I'm not on a list. It's fine. But yeah, I've never had that fall asleep and end up at the end of the line scenario.
I should have one of those signs around my neck.
Wake me up
when I get to Welwyn North.
What about an alarm? Could you set an alarm?
Well, that's the thing is when you've had a few jars, you don't necessarily think about setting an alarm. So
just get a T-shirt that says "Talk to me about Star Wars."
Yeah, exactly. Keep me awake the whole time.
You'll just be talking.
But no, it's
everyone else on the train's asleep. Everyone else misses their stop, and he still gets off at Cambridge because he's so into the conversation. Oh no! Oh dear. What were we talking? I can't remember. Oh yeah. Well, what you should do is when you get your first beer in, set your alarm.
Yeah, because but I don't know when the last beer is going to be. I'm not going to do one of those. This is me doing my first beer, and this is me doing my last beer.
True. Because you don't know what train you're getting on. Is what you're saying.
And I was out with friends the other day, and we went to the kebab shop, and I ordered the kebab, and then I was outside standing there, and they said I was asleep while I was eating the kebab.
Yeah, that's mental.
Because I was just standing there and they just were talking to me and I wasn't, I was just eating and standing. It's like a spectacle to watch. You know?
Yeah, the only other solution I've got for you is you could check every train home and set an alarm for every single time that the train gets to...
pub and
your buzzer. You're carrying your tequilas across there and your alarm goes off.
But no, Welwyn Garden City's lovely. My daughter lives 5 minutes around the corner from me, which is nice as well.
Amazing.
So, And
how old is she now?
She's 3, so yeah.
Okay.
But she's a proper little character now. But and then I've got my son who's up in Lincoln.
Okay.
So he's at uni doing biochemistry.
Nice.
So, but that's how the name comes from. So MAYACHI is Maya and Malachi. So my daughter's name is Maya and my son's name is Malachi, and it's MAYACHI.
There you go.
Just to kind of put the two together.
That's nice.
I think it works really well.
That's it. But I get people going, is it some Japanese proverb or something?
It does kind of sound.
Or I get Mayachi or Miyagi and all the rest of it. I'm like, where's the Miyagi come from?
Stuart Miyagi, yeah.
Exactly.
Wax on, wax off should be your...
No. Or one of the agents...
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Or one of the agencies calls me Obi-Wan. because of
I bet you like
I
that.
work with
I
him.
bet you
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
yeah. But he's called me it for years. But he's like, whenever hi Obi-Wan, you know, how's it going? I'm like, yeah, how's it going? You're right, you're doing. But yeah, it's you know, from an advisory, that's the ultimate way of thinking about it. So.
Yeah, we should have got you a cloak. That would have been,
I've got one.
That would have been, yeah. There must be conventions and stuff. Do you ever go to any of that?
I've been to a few. I went to the Secret Cinema one as well, which was really good. So that was watching Empire Strikes Back.
Was it?
And
Okay.
because you can't take photos in those secret cinemas.
Mm-hmm.
But it was amazing. They had the whole of the Sand Planet, the Tatooine. You went in and you had the cantina and you had a few drinks in there and all your food was outside.
Sorry, did you say you went dressed up to that?
Yeah. So but everyone had to. When you go to the Secret Cinema, they give you a list of which character you're going to be.
Oh, they send it to you, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. And you then dress up as that character.
Oh, so there's no like duplicates of the character.
Well, it then matches your personality, and then they have like 7 or 8 different characters. So if all the people go, they have an equal number of each of those characters.
Each of those characters floating around.
And what was your character in that scene?
I think I was like a trader in Tatooine. I think I was. So I had to wear like a.
So it works with a finance background. It's
That's
actually, it's actually quite fitting, really.
So yeah, but no, I've been to. I still have to go to America and go to the new Star Wars Worlds Apart one that's at Disneyland.
Right, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I still need to do that one. But I did all the previous ones that they had there. So the old Star Tours that was there years ago. But
do you think it was a bad thing that Disney bought the franchise?
No.
No, you think it's a good thing?
I think otherwise, would the money have been there? I think it's more about the money. I think they just need to actually just get back to the law of where it was.
Right, okay.
I think that's the thing about it, is that and some of them, they've lost that childhood innocence kind of stuff. They've started to get some of it back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one, the Skeleton Crew, that came out. I thought they'd kind of got back to that in some respect. But that's kind of one that not many people have seen.
I've not even heard of it.
But but it's kind of got...
What do you call it? The Skeleton?
Skeleton Crew,
Skeleton
and it kind of got back to the way that it was, the way that Disney, not a bit of Disney, but also a bit of Star Wars as well.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's kind of, some of the films lost their way. The last 3 that they made.
Oh, you didn't like those? I did see all of them.
Yeah, wasn't a fan at all. I thought they were. The first one was just a rehash of number 4.
I did think that. Even
and then the next one kind of really lost his way with what happened at the end with Luke and all the rest of it. And then it was a case of the last one bringing the Emperor back. I was just like, really, have to bring.
Weren't sold.
Yeah, it's kind of like I need, and I think that's why some of the series are working much better now as well. But but yeah, no, it's I watch any film. I sit there in the evenings, just film it.
Do you?
Films.
Yeah, no, I'm more like into sports and stuff. That's my vice, isn't it?
I like a film.
Yeah, you like a film.
Yeah,
you're Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff as well. And like, I could do Star Wars more than Lord of the Rings. That's Lord of the Rings. But
I'm not because I've got 2 left feet, so I can't play football. I can't. I'm not. The only ball games I can do is pool or snooker. But it's a case of that. No, not the football. I'm a football watcher rather than a football player. Definitely.
Who's your team?
Man United, unfortunately.
Oh, is it?
Well, it was unfortunate last year. It's getting better this year, but still, the jury's out on obviously how it's all going there. But the one good thing is my brother-in-law is a Newcastle fan. Okay. And every year we have a bet on who's going to be higher. And so last year he got £100, but this year I think it looks like I might be getting £100 back. So.
How long has it been going on for?
Oh, just a couple of years now. But yeah, it's more a case of that he was big time last year, like, look at you. And then this year it's kind of like, whoa, look at you. I think all that money that the Saudis put in there really didn't make a difference in some way.
Well, this is where they need you in there.
Yeah, exactly. To balance their books.
To sort the books out. But like because they're tied a little bit though, aren't they? I feel. Well, they've just spent too much money on and they have to sell some players, and they've financial
not found,
fair play.
They've not found the loopholes that Man City found, and obviously all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I think that it's
Man City have got a better financial advisor. I think
they've got better lawyers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
it's
I
the
think
lawyers.
Better lawyers that found the loopholes in the finances that they could actually do all those things.
Exploit
and obviously now the court cases are just going on and on and on anyway. So
it'd be interesting to see when it comes out what the
how much money they have to pay and if they lose any points. But it's a case of that. No, it's football's a funny old game. It always is. You see where Spurs are at the moment in the league. It's a case of on the brink of that kind of getting down to relegation zone, but I don't think they'll get that far. But it's a case of that. It's just interesting. Every year it's slightly different. You know, when Leicester won the Premiership all those years ago,
that was incredible.
Exactly,
actually.
yeah. But it's those kind of things. The underdogs.
That's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but
that's a long time.
But it does show, you know, that. You know, it can happen. It can happen. You know, and it's if you look at the recruitment industry, even you look at the bigger boys are probably the ones that are struggling at the moment. Would you say
that's the case
from the figures?
Yeah.
Whether or not, you know, and from what you hear from people in the industry that's what's happening. And
I see it online, but you know, when I always take it with a pinch of salt.
Exactly.
I'm like, I've seen those numbers and posts that people put up, but I'm like, is that true?
Is it just that they're cost cutting? Is it a case that they're using AI instead, and that's why they're know they're kind of they're making redundancies and things like that? But I would say that the smaller agency can make a really good. You know, you can get to a point of if you've got the drive and ambition. There's lots of people that still do lifestyle, but there's always those ones
I think it's hard to do that.
It is and it isn't. It's a case of that. I think you could get bored of it after a while.
Right. Okay.
It's a bit like if you retire. It's great to start off with, and then you start going, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't, you fall over. And I think it's the same with a lifestyle recruiter. You can't do it forever. You either you have to change completely to something different, or you have to maybe look at that next stage, whether or not it's even just taking on 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
I had the lifestyle recruiter, and there was 2 of them went into business together, and they said whoever they had to do a deal each.
Okay.
If they did a deal each on a Monday, they'd play golf on Tuesday to Friday. But if they didn't do their 2 deals until Wednesday, then they could only go on Thursday, Friday. And that was their way of having it as a lifestyle recruiter.
Right.
Jeez.
It was a target that they set themselves, and then
as soon as they've done their deal,
that's it. Then they go down the golf course.
How funny!
As a way of that was their way of having a lifestyle business.
Yeah. Are they still going?
Yeah, still going now. So not they've now got a team because it did work for a while, and then it was kind of like, actually, I want to get other people to do the work, to make me some money, so I can go on the golf course whenever I like. In some respect, not just wait till I've done a deal. But that's lifestyle. I think it does get to a point you go, do I now want to take on more people? But then there again. It's a bit like when you work in an agency. I've seen this in an agency. People get to be in the top biller, and the director then automatically thinks, they're going to be the manager. They're going to be the next director. Unfortunately, there's the mindset of some recruiters, which I think is still really, really a great way to be, is make as much money as I possibly can for myself. Still do those deals, still pump in those deals. Being a manager, I'm distracting myself from doing those deals. Sure. I have to give my time to someone else instead of me being on the phone.
Yep.
And so when recruitment directors look at those people as top billers, it's probably asking the question, are they the right mindset to be a manager? Are they the right mindset to be a director? Because I've seen people actually fail and actually end up becoming the lowest biller because they became a manager. If they'd stuck to being the top billing recruiter, they would have just continued and been fine. Yeah. And it's the same with then setting up your own recruitment business. Yeah, it's a different mindset. So being the top biller doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a most successful recruitment agency. Sure. And I've seen that so many times as well.
Yeah. Because there's so much more to it, so much more nuance.
That's it. Right? Or then they need someone like me or another NED who's sitting there and being their boss and saying, you need to hit these targets.
Sure.
It's one of the
accountability.
One of the quotes I always use is, I say this to a lot of my businesses, if you actually, if you were still working for your last agency, would you have got the sack by now?
Okay.
Because a lot of business owners who are failing, and they go, if you were your last place, would you got the sack? And they go, yeah. And I was like, but what were you doing then that you're not doing now? Yeah. And it's just a mindset, and it's about changing the way they're actually. But then they go, yeah, mate. Oh yeah, when I used to do 30 phone calls a day, so I'm only doing 5 now. Maybe I've got to go back to that point. Yeah. And I use it as a hold them to account. And sometimes when I set targets, and I'm like, so if you don't hit these targets, you're going to get the sack then. And it's like, and it's like, actually, yeah, you should. Because if you were in your last place and you got set a target and you didn't hit it, you'd be under disciplinary. So it's got to have that same mindset when you have your own business. You've got to have a target. Yeah. And you can't turn around at the end of the year and go, I didn't hit it. By a lot. Okay, well, actually, then it's someone else's fault. It's the industry's fault, or it's something like that. You've got to change. You've got to evolve and move with it. 100%. The my agencies this year, some of them have gone out and they're using the overseas resource for resourcing.
Okay. So are you seeing that being a success?
I've seen it with South Africa. It's been very good. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and with certain industries, I think you have to pick your outsourcer for the country. You have to pick it for the industry you're in.
Right. Okay.
So I've got one of my agencies who does it, and they've got theirs all in Pakistan, and the language barrier and all the rest of it because they're in the medical industry.
Right.
And so someone from Pakistan ringing up a doctor and saying, I need your details to register you and all the rest of it, that's not a problem. But if that was in the construction industry, I don't think that would work.
Right, okay.
Yep.
So South Africa has a twang, obviously. They're on the same time zone and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a case of that's been more successful for certain industries.
Right, okay.
So so that's how I would kind of view that. But it has been very successful. So I've got one of my agencies, they've now got 4 resources, and they said they'll never take on a UK resource ever again.
Wow.
Because the quality you get, because the amount you would pay it's obviously minimum wage now means you're on a minimum of 25 grand a year. You know, you're looking at 2.5 grand for someone who's maybe got 2 years experience in South Africa, rather than you're taking on a brand new resource who's going to be on 25 grand to start off with.
Sure.
Then you don't have the desk cost. You don't have all those kind of additional costs. Yes, you have to pay for licenses, but that desk cost isn't necessarily there. And they're a service provider. You're on an invoice in some respect. So if it doesn't work out, you get another person.
Yes.
Rather than they're your employee, and with all the new Employment Rights Act and all the rest of it that's coming out, where it's going to make it harder for people to, you know, if it's the person's not right, you've got to decide now in 6 months, not in 2 years. And so actually going, well, I'll use a service overseas, and if it doesn't work because our business doesn't need them anymore or something like that, it's sorry, there's the notice period and it's just finishing. So I think that's been a really good one, is the resourcing side. I know that a lot of these companies are starting to do BD side, but I don't know how successful that side's been. But the resourcing side has definitely been
working. Unemployment rates are massive in South Africa as well.
That's it. And they don't get any benefits if obviously you don't get a job.
It's like nearly 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in young people, I was looking at the stats the other day, because I know someone that used our platform that has got a resourcer from South Africa, and he was saying she's so grateful for the work because of how high unemployment is.
Yeah.
So I had a look, and I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was almost like one in 3, 1 in 4 people are not.
I've got one of my agencies, and they use guys from the Philippines.
Right. Okay.
So, and that works very well for them, but they've got like
phenomenal English as well. Usually they speak in
it's very, very cheap as well. And they've got like 20 of these that do. But what they've done is they've split the tasks down into small tasks.
Right, okay.
So they've got like 5 of them will find candidates. Then you've got another 5 that will actually do the first stage of getting them registered. Then you've got the next 5 that will do this. And what they've kind of worked out is if one of those people leaves, they can train up the next person in 3 hours.
Right.
So they've broken it down, but it's the cost of those. If they had them all as 4 people, that's the equivalent of 1.
Yeah.
But they can have them as 4 people, and they can be working twice as, you know.
Yeah.
So they're doing $300 a month in perm, and there's 4 of them.
$300 a month in perm.
That's it. So they're billing, so 75 grand each in perm.
Wow.
And they're doing like 3 placements each, because they actually get the candidates. They've got the clients with all the jobs, and the candidates are just being thrown at them, and they're able to just make that many placements.
Jeez.
That's quite crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But, you know, that over a year, that's a shitload of money.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, yeah.
Mate, the other segment that we've got in this pod, because I'm just conscious of the old clock. Have you seen this thing before?
Yeah.
Are you aware of Lee's Lunchbox? We have a segment where, and I will pester you after this for a question.
Yep.
But the last guest who we had came on has left you a question in this lunchbox.
Right.
It was Can.
Yep.
Do you know Can?
I know Can very well, yes.
We had a phenomenal time with Cam, didn't we?
Yeah.
Cam bought, have you seen his outfits that he does online?
Yes, his cowboy ones and his masks and all the rest of it. Yeah.
So when we did this Lee's Lunchbox segment last time, they dressed up. So I was sat in the middle of a cowboy and the cybersecurity consultant while we did it. But Can has left a question in here, and we do have a jingle as well, which Andy always tells me off that I never have it ready.
Have you heard this jingle?
No.
It's AI's created it.
We love a jingle. I'm trying to think where I put it.
Uh-oh.
Where do I usually go to? Why's my brain gone blank? So in content, and then in podcast.
This is what I normally say, why don't you have it ready? Here we go.
The lyrics are open it up, and what do you see? There's a weekly question in the lunchbox for Lee. Is asked. Would you like to open it?
Read it out.
Open it up, what do we see? box for a lead.
That was left for you.
So,
But I can.
if you read it out and then you can...
When recruitment markets tighten, how do you know when to double down, diversify, or pivot entirely? And what financial signals do you look for first?
I feel like that. I feel like he knew you were coming.
Oh yeah, he didn't know you were coming. The bit I find interesting about that question when I wrote it down earlier was how do you know when to double down? Because I think there is a challenge in recruitment where things slow down and naturally recruitment gets canned.
Yeah.
And how do you know whether it's just like we need to push harder, or you just need to maybe like accept the market? Do you accept the market's not there, or do you go harder and push? Just say get on the phone more.
I think you've got to look elsewhere as well and see what other people are doing.
Okay.
And I think this is the thing: is recruitment originally back in the day was you didn't speak to other recruiters, you didn't speak to other agencies, and actually find out who it is working for. And ask them for a beer, ask them for a lunch or something like that. You know, it's a case of like, they'll want to know as much from you as what's working and what's not working. And have a lunch or a meeting and find out from them, if you know that it's working, how you can change that. If you don't, you're just going to keep on doing what you think is right. And you're just going to maybe make those same mistakes. If it is a mistake that's being made rather than the market's going down. And I think that's it. It's technology is changing all the time. There's new things coming out there. I think, if you don't, it's still the age-old picking up the phone. It's still the age-old but sometimes it's the techniques that you can maybe use to actually make those things a little bit more sticky. So I've been doing a task with an NED on one of my agencies, and it was about looking at their clients that they build in 2024 and how many of them they build in 2025. Now, they'd never done this exercise before. Right. And it came out, and we did this about 7 months into their business, into their year, and they were at 35%.
Right.
So they'd only done deals with 35% of the people from 2024 in 2025.
Wow.
That's quite.
So they lost 65% of their clients said they'd not done that repeat business with them.
Wow, that's a great exercise. Actually,
but we did that over the year, and by the end of the year, we got to 55%.
Right.
So they still lost 45%, but it was only because we started it so late in the year.
Yeah.
If they'd known that from the very beginning, they would have actually done that. So I've been doing that with some of my other agencies.
I think that's a great exercise.
And we're doing it with the contractor side and the perm side. Now, contractor side, it should be that you're already at quite a high rate because you're just repeating the people. But sometimes that might not. In this case, you're losing are you doing one-off deals? Are you doing deals where you're just trying to win it? You put a person in for one day, it didn't work out, then you don't do that client again. Go back and revisit those clients. But there's too much emphasis, I think, sometimes on doing new BD and not enough on actually who were the people we had relationships with previously.
Account management types
that's
of BD.
it.
Yeah,
but that's how I would
true.
change it. Why is there just, I've got to hit the phones and I've got to do new BD? Well, you've got all these previous relationships. And we did that just from the year before. This company's been going for a long time. It's kind of like, do that every year.
Yeah.
Because if you've been losing 65% of your clients every single year, you've got to bring on 3 times more clients next year.
Yeah.
To get, if you want to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's about, that's the exercises that I look at now, is actually looking at that. And then it's also if you are a contract and perm business, looking at the cross-selling. You know, because there's perm recruiters and there's contract recruiters. But actually, has the perm recruiter asked their client, do you do contractors?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah. It's all of those things.
Yeah, offering it to the client, and the client goes, actually, well, tell me how does contracting works? Well, we've got another guy in the office who does contracting, do it as a split deal or something like that. But it's about actually cross-selling.
Yeah.
And understanding that. It's, that exercise we did on the retention rate, we also looked at how much money do they make from an old client, how much money do they make from a new client.
Interesting.
And it was twice as much.
From which one?
From the old client.
Because the trust is there. And
that's it.
Yeah.
So it's those exercises, that's what I would do it's not a pivot exercise, it's just basic recruitment that actually, as a business owner, you don't just got to go, right, okay, new.
More business, yeah.
But I think that's what people do though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like more new the
that's
whole time.
It. So,
that's good. And then in that question as well, there was a bit about, what did he say? Did he say something about what
financial indicators? Yeah,
because I think that's a good bit of the question as well. Like, is there a specific number that you'd say to your clients, if that starts going down, or then we panic at that point?
Yeah, we always, it all depends on perm or contract again.
Right, okay.
Because if the business is perm heavy, you're only as good as your last perm placement.
Okay.
So it's a case of, especially if you're doing contingent. So if you're doing retainer, that's a little bit easier. But if you're just doing contingent, if you go on holiday for 2 weeks, that's going to have an impact on your business. If you, if all you're doing is you're losing clients, you've got to do something quite drastically, because otherwise your business will go down the pan. And it's not about, the first thing people always do is go, right, okay, I've got to cut costs. I always go, no, you've got to do more business on the top line. You know, when I do a set of projections, I always start at the bottom. How much money do you want to earn? Add the corporation tax back on. That's then your profit line. What's your overheads that much? That means you've got to do this much sales. Most other people, they'll go, right, okay, what sales do you want to do? Let's put your overheads in, and then you're going to make 50 grand. And the recruiter goes, I'm not really inspired now.
Yeah.
So if you start from the bottom and say, how much money do you want? I want to have 150 grand's worth of dividends.
Reverse engineering.
And do it all backwards. Then I go, right, you've got to do £500,000. How are you going to do £500,000? I don't know. Last year I did 300. Right, what techniques do we want to do, and how are you going to get to that stage? And is it going to be a gradual process? And then what happens if you don't hit it? It's asking those questions. Do a 10% budget, doing if you don't hit it by 10% and also by 25%.
Sure.
Because it's only on them. So it's not my business at the end of the day.
So that's the number, though, the budget. So you'd work that out and say, this is our number, and if we're not hitting this, then we need to do something.
Or it's a case of, that might be, I do that every 3 months with them. So if I'm with them on a quarterly basis and they go, oh, it's not been a good month, right, okay, what do you need to, I'm become their whipping master and going, you've got to do this business now. If you don't do this business, your business ain't going to be there. And it's the same on the contractor side as well. You've got to look at it from a concentration issues, there's things like that. You know, there's people I know of, and they just have one client on their contractor book, and it's so reliant on it.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's a case of, you've got to get multiple clients. And it's actually understanding that client. It's like, I'm saying, what's the indicators on, actually, are they going to be doing more recruitment? Is the person you've got as a contact, that person, are they talking to you about new projects? Are they talking about next year's hiring and things like that? If it's, well, no, they're not, then there's going to be no more business coming from, and that's where we have to start making decisions. But it's a case of, have you asked about other managers who are doing maybe other projects in the business? Because people just go to the same person that they know. It's going down, visiting that client and seeing if you can meet the other hiring managers and seeing if you can build a relationship with them. Or it's asking the question of, right, okay, the international side, I see on your website that you've got a branch in the Netherlands. Can I be intro to those guys, and maybe I can work with them? It's a case of not just be insular on the just going to be UK only. It's diversifying, as that question was saying. Diversify, but look overseas in your existing clients. Don't just ring up random clients in Holland. It's a case of, use your existing relationships with the UK clients who have got overseas branches, especially the US, where margins are huge. It's a case of, definitely, you know, but why agencies, you don't have to do the same thing all the time. Processes could be the same, or it can be evolved, you know, to make sure it's nice and streamlined. But think of different ways of making money. You know, the America market is definitely a big one.
Do you have a lot of people that you work with in the US
that are doing business in the US? The first thing they always say is, I've got to go and open a US office. No. Do it from the UK for office first. If it gets to the point where you're losing business because your clients say, we can only deal with you if you're in the US, then you set up a US office. But you don't need to have a US office straight away. So one of the big clients that we used to have, they basically, all their business was UK company doing business over to America. They were then bought by an American company who did perm only. And they were doing contractors into America through their UK business. And the America business was like, we don't understand contracting, but you've got a big contractor book in our market. Rather than us going out and getting a recruiter to actually learn it in the UK.
We'll have you.
Instead, we'll just buy the agency. And it worked. It definitely is a better way. It was a great way of, but he never opened up a US office. You can run it all from the UK. And we had invoice finance for him in the UK. It's easy to get invoice finance to fund your contractors. It's easier to get it in the UK than it is in America. Because in America, it's more spot finance and things like that. So they're financing individual invoices. Whereas the UK, we'll finance your whole debt book.
Got you.
So for me, it's much easier for me to help source funding for agencies who are UK agencies making placement overseas. There's lots of providers out there, the banks and things like that.
They'll do that.
They will provide funding on you doing placements overseas.
Gotcha.
So you're a UK business raising invoices to Holland, they'll fund those invoices that are being sent to Holland in euros.
Yeah.
Or in US dollars. Or
however you want.
Some other ones.
So many options now, isn't there?
Well, that's the thing is the pay and bill providers. So the pay and bill providers are these agencies, these companies who they'll raise invoices to your clients, they'll pay your candidates and they give you the profit straight away.
Yeah.
And there are some out there that will do euros and US dollars. But what happens if your placement is in Swedish krona or Danish krona and things like that? And there's not many that will do those outside currencies. They are getting better at it.
Yeah.
But you can do those deals still.
Yeah.
And it's just a better way. You get much bigger margins. Yes, it is certain markets, the IT market, renewable energy, and those kind of ones, even some finance and that. But it's big margins. You can make some really good money from it. American market.
I wonder why they're so big out there.
Well, well, I think what it is I went to a seminar once and this recruiter, she stood up right near the end and she says, just after all you've heard, because they were professing about that the margins in America are like 30 to 40% margins.
Yeah, I hear 25% all the time.
That's it. There. But she stood up at the end and she went, can I just make sure that none of you spoil it for the rest of us by going in with a 10% margin?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll just knock it to the bottom again. And I think that's what's happened with some of the UK market. The reason why the margins are so much bigger overseas, because they're not used to doing contracting. America was always perm, very little contracting in some way.
Yeah.
Now it's a case of the UK recruiters are going over there to the clients and going, you should do contractors. And they go, we don't do contractors. What does that entail? And then they're leading the market on it. And so there's more and more contractors. But they're going, but the margins are 30% or 35%. But if they did that in the UK, they're looking at...
Be laughed at.
Yeah, 15%, And so why not go to America and teach them, but do it at the high margins? So it's really interesting to sort of see the agencies, one of my agencies, they're going over there, and it's about $6,000 a month that they're making as profit on a contractor.
Jesus. Wow, jeez.
It's lots of money, isn't it? Yeah.
Because they also do overtime over there and things like that. You get paid time and a half on overtime and things like that. It's not a standard rates and all the rest of it. It's overtime rates.
Yeah.
And again, it's a case of that they're calling out for engineers and things like that. So
is there resistance from the US? Did they ever find blockers where they're like, no, we don't want to deal with UK people?
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
But it's not UK. Yeah, they don't like to be invoiced from a UK company.
Right. Okay.
But you then go, why? It's rather than just take it as point blank. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because there isn't a reason.
Yeah.
It's just raising an invoice and you're paying it. There's a double taxation agreement between the UK and US. You fill in your W-9 form to stop to show that you're a UK company and you're going to be paying corporation tax in the UK. And it doesn't make any difference from that. As long as you've got the right contracts in place and you've got the right insurances in place.
You're fine.
And you're probably using an equivalent of like an umbrella company. So they call them EOR in America, so employer of record.
Yeah.
As long as you're using the correct one of those, there should be no reason why a UK agency should not be placing contractors in America through their UK company.
Because we do business in the US through ours. And do you remember once we had that person in the support chat that found out we were a UK company and was like, do you remember? Yeah. She kicked off, and there was.
I can't remember what she was saying.
She was like, "I'm never paying. My money's not leaving America." Basically, she was like, "I'm not."
This is like a MAGA kind of.
Must have been, had the red hat on.
Yeah, exactly. but she was like, "There is no reason at all." No.
She was just like, "I'm not funding a company outside of the US." Basically, was her approach.
Just a solo recruiter.
Yeah,
in the US. That was like, I'm not giving you my 40 quid.
When she then probably wants to do business in the UK, what we're going to turn around and go, no, sorry, I don't want to do business with you. It works both ways. There is companies who are trying to obviously break into the UK market. So I've had doctors from India who basically are running medical centres in India and that, and going, right, I want to set up a recruitment agency in the UK.
Doctors that want to start as recruiters.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that is the one thing we had. I would say we used to get one inquiry a week from a non-recruiter looking to start their own recruitment agency.
What do you usually advise on that?
No.
Do you say no? Yeah.
Yeah. You got to. I would always say, right, okay, especially the doctors and nurses. I'd go, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go and be a nurse, and I'm going to start administering medicine. They go, no, you can't do that. I was like, why not? Or you haven't done all your training and all the rest of it. I'm like, but recruitment needs the same. chain. It's not just I'll pick up the phone and I'll pick up a client. Next phone call, I'll pick up a candidate, and then on the next one, I'll put the two together, and it's easy. It's not like that. There's a skill and there's an art to recruitment.
Yeah,
you know, it is a hard thing to get into to be successful at it. Now, if you've never been a recruiter before and you're coming into the market, it's just double-edged sword, especially if they want to start a business doing it. So it's not, I always go and get a job in a recruitment agency for 9 months, and if you then become the top biller, then come back and we'll set your recruitment agency up. But we can't do it now until you've had some experience. You know, and we used to have doctors, nurses, GPs. We had construction managers. So people on construction sites who are going, well, I know all the people. I can then fill all those jobs, and I'll speak to the site manager and he'll let me kind of fill the jobs. CIS and the construction industry scheme would just completely wipe them out on actually blow their mind on how that would work for them. We also had the one that we did have that worked really, really well was we had an oil rig manager. And basically he was putting people onto oil rigs, and there was only a certain number of people in the industry that could do that job, and he knew all of them. And he spoke to his boss, and his boss went, we need 15 people for this job. And he went, do you mind if I do it? If I set up a company and I provide? And we went, if you're a recruitment agency and you can provide the people, that's fine. And then he came to us and we administered it. But he put those 15 people on, and they were on for 18 months.
Wow.
And he was still working as the rig manager, and he was getting his sidearm of having this
filling all the jobs.
But he wasn't filling because he just had to fill it at the beginning. And then 18 months later, he just closed the company at the end of the 18 months.
Jesus Christ.
But that was the only success story, really. There's not been many of those that I've seen, because I had one, and she was a nurse, and she came to us and she said, I'd like to set up an agency.
We've had a nurse.
And set up an agency, and she registered 60 candidates, got them all compliant. But she went into the client and said, I've got registered candidates, I'm a recruitment agency. No. You're a nurse. We've known you for years as a nurse. And she was like, no, I'm now a recruiter. And they're like, no, you are a nurse. And she just couldn't get the clients to take her seriously as a recruiter. And so she ended up losing her company. But it's kind of like that said to us, we can't do this. If people can get candidates, I've had warehouse workers go, I was in the canteen and I got all these guys my mates. It doesn't work like that.
No.
You have to have some recruitment experience. And as I said, that's why I get it's these people who are top billers don't necessarily make good directors. They just can't get used to the management of the money and the processes you need to follow. I had one agency and they did their first 10 grand perm deal, 12 grand came in and they just spent the 12 grand. I was like, but 2 grand of that was VAT. I said, well, how are you going to pay your VAT now? He went, well, the money came in, I thought it was fine. I went, no, it doesn't work like that, But it's those kind of prime things. It's understanding VAT. It's understanding those kind of side of it.
I thought they'd have got that one, though. The fact. Hey, what did they think? Did they think they'd just been mispaid by... They just lucked out and got just thought, 2 grand in, lads.
But there's so many that...
But they must have put the VAT on the invoice as well.
No, because what's it called? The accounting software put that on for them. They didn't put it on, This is the thing I hate is accounting softwares do not teach you how to be a bookkeeper or an accountant.
No, they just
apparently you can go up a mountain and do your tax return on the back of a mountain bike, but it doesn't work like that. It's a person who does that tax return on the back of a mountain bike is trusting that the information that's been put in has been put in correct. I hate that advert, and I hate those kind of any recruiter who does their own bookkeeping is potentially holding themselves up as being liable for lots of tax.
Right.
Because they could be putting VAT. I had one agency and she was putting VAT on the software, was accounting for VAT on every transaction on things that didn't even have VAT.
Right.
And she got caught by HMRC after 7 years. She had a 10 grand VAT bill because she'd reclaimed VAT on things that
I've heard you say it before.
But it was just kind of like, but if she had given that little bit more money to her accountant to do the bookkeeping, if that had happened, then the accountant would have been liable.
Yeah.
Not her.
Yeah.
She could have turned around to the accountant and went, you did all that bookkeeping, it's down to you. But as I said, the people look at it and go, well, yeah, my accountant has taken me on board and he can do me at £300 a month if he does the bookkeeping, or I can do it for £120 and I'll do the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
But it's time as well.
It's
doing it right, and then the time scales. So if you're having to take, I'd much rather they spend that time on the phone doing an extra deal
100%
than actually doing their bookkeeping.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And recruiters think it's always got to be cheap.
That's the hard thing, though, right? When you're starting, you do think that we were like that in the early days. It's like, where can you
slice money off of everything?
Right, you're just trying to survive, and you go, oh, well, but now you realise it's like actually it's better we spend our time doing this and just quickly pay for somebody.
That's it. Outsource everything you possibly can. Anything you can do. You don't have your IT isn't done by you. Your IT, if you want it done right, you get an IT company. You get someone like Can to do your IT.
Yeah.
Because Can is an expert and he's going to make sure it's set up correct.
Yeah.
But
he was good.
If you do it yourself, and then your clients suddenly get... I've had 2 agencies this year who have been small 1-2-man bands, and their business got hacked from an email perspective. Yeah. Now, the hackers held them kind of ransomware kind of thing and sent messages to all their clients and had to ring the clients up. Now, how does that sound as a one-man band ringing your client up going, I've been hacked? And they go, so you've now potentially compromising my system. Do I want to work with you anymore? And that could kill her business more than anything. And also, she had this ransomware thing and all the rest of it, and she had to get old backups, but it wasn't set up correctly. Jesus. And she was going to the cybersecurity guys after the effect.
Yeah, too late.
Get it set up at the beginning. Part of my 2-hour free, we always saying, have you got your IT set up? Yeah. Yes. Have you got your antivirus? I've got McAfee. I'm like, no, you need something a little bit more than McAfee because you're dealing with people's personal data. Yeah. You don't want to have that scenario where actually you have to ring your client up and say, sorry, we've been hacked.
You're in trouble.
But the other thing as well is you get the insurance companies now selling you cybersecurity insurance. Mm-hmm. And then but the insurance company doesn't necessarily turn around and say, but you've got to make sure you have a certain level of antivirus.
Sure.
So it's a bit like driving your car without an MOT and expecting your insurance to still be valid. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be valid if you've got no MOT.
You don't have the right things in place.
So it's the same with, what's the point in paying out for cybersecurity insurance if actually you don't have any cybersecurity?
Yeah.
So it's those kind of things that just need to be sort of looked at. And that's what we look at. I don't just look at it from a financial perspective. I want these agencies to have the best possible chance by saying, are you using the right bits of software? Are you using the, even taking on people? Sometimes some agencies get me sitting on interviews and things like that. It's kind of like just to sort of say, well, a third pair of eyes, you've been in this industry for a long time, and I'll be there going, oh, right, if you bought 3, copies of your previous pay slips, what was your commission structure? Because if people say, oh yeah, I used to be a 350 grand biller, and they look at their pay slips and go, but your commission structure to what you're actually telling me doesn't quite match.
Doesn't make sense.
Maybe you only did 880 grand because your commissions aren't matching back to what you're actually telling me that you're actually doing. So, but yeah, it's especially if you're going to go for big billers and things like that. Agencies are trying to do that still. He's going out getting the big billers, not about training. Again, it's time of training someone.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is that, do I go out and get a big biller? But then you're being sold to. Recruiters are salespeople. They're going to go and sell themselves. And I'm the most fantastic recruiter, but I need a 70 grand guarantee. Hang a minute, it's a 40 grand year position and you want a 70 grand guarantee. So in 3 months, we're going to come off that. Oh no, I need that guarantee for 6 months. I'm like, look at their CV and every 6 months they're swapping jobs. You're like, right, okay, 70 grand guarantee. They've never done a deal in the last 2 or 3 years. So it's just looking at being savvy about it, and it's not just about the personality. It's about asking those questions about, from a financial perspective, what was your, how much money did you make for that agency, and how much is it going to cost you as well? Yeah, I sit in there, and the meeting I'm going to after this today, he's taking on people, and it's kind of like, right, how much money is this going to cost me over the next 3 months? I'm like, we've got to look at this over 9 months. First 3 months, that person's maybe not going to bill. Yep. Second 3 months, they're going to bill, but only enough to cover their current wage. And then the other 3 months is to cover the bit from the very beginning. Sure. And that's only if we monitor and make sure they hit these targets.
Where have you got to go for that one?
Just down to Aylesbury.
Oh, nice.
So not too far.
Whereabouts in Aylesbury?
Some coffee shop in Aylesbury. I can't remember what it's called. So yeah,
interesting. I live in Aylesbury.
Right. So yeah. I was at the pub, one of the pubs down there a couple of weeks ago.
Which one?
I can't remember now, but no.
So you weren't asleep outside here in the kebab, were you?
No. It was along one of the main roads, and it was
There's so many pubs.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
there was loads. But mate, it's been good. It's been good to have you. We've done 1 hour and 42.
Bloody hell!
Wow,
Thank you so much for these as well.
No worries,
that's
lovely.
Did you do the research? You did the research, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for the LinkedIn post.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was the LinkedIn post.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying how cold you were.
Yeah. Well, the admission. That's him in there.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was you.
Yeah.
No,
I post it.
You post it.
But it's him. But no one ever notices.
All right.
It's a picture of me, but my face is like this.
Yeah. So it's me that posted it. And do you know what? I'll let you into a secret.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm taking the
lid off
the curtain. I posted that post for the last 4 years.
Just before Chris, or around
when it gets cold,
winter.
I save it. I post it with the same caption every year, and it probably gets at least 30 to 40,000, sometimes 100,000 views. And not once has anybody ever said, "I've seen this post before." No one's ever.
It's quite funny, isn't it?
Yeah, every year I say to him, I call it Andy in the cold. I'm like, "Oh, Andy in the cold's coming out again." The temperature's dropping.
You'll see it around next Christmas.
I've not seen this before. Is this a recycled post?
But I've saved all the screenshots of every year to one day be like, I've posted this for 6 years and no one's ever noticed. But I've given it all up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you enjoy your cocks as well, mate.
Fantastic, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming as well.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you so
No worries.
much.
What time have you got
That
to be
was good.
releasing?
12 o'clock, so.
Oh my God, Jesus.
You're boss at recruitment and you're going alone. You've got your LinkedIn account and your mobile phone. You've got the candidates playing hard to get. We'll call you next week, or no, not yet. So much time of going to and fro. You got another offer, or salary's too low. Hours of searching and hours of stress. Come on, candidates, just gig it a rest. Come on, candidates, just jig it a rest.